There we go. Okay, so I also had a thing happen that I wanted to share. I wrote it down because, yeah, I think I don't have practice speaking off the cuff, so bear with me as I read this to you. Um, so I go to a Pentecostal church, so there's a little bit different things that happen during service. Because I was always used to rather conserved or quiet services, but Pentecostalism is not so much, which is good. I like it. Um, so one thing that happens during services is you will physically feel the presence of God come in the church. Like I've had that happen with other denominations and stuff. I'm not saying that doesn't happen because it does. It very much does. But uh it happens more with me. I'm just my experience. It happens more with me in charismatic settings. So it was during worship service, and uh, the worship was longer because there was a sense that we needed to break through some things. And our worship team is great for that. If they sense something needs to be, if we need to repeat a song to break something, they're on it. Like, they're so good. But so worship was going on. I'm already getting emotional about this. And uh, God's always there, obviously. But we don't always feel him, and even when the presence comes in, it's not, there's like different levels. Some days it's like really intense, and some days it's like, okay, he's there, he's letting us know that he's working. But some days it just smacks you. And this was one of those days, this past Sunday. And so some of you know me, some of you don't. Some of you read my book, and you will know that I see things in the spirit. So during worship, I got really short of breath, and that was odd. Um, because some people with like a healing anointing that can be a trigger that someone needs something to do with their lungs. Anyway, I was trying to figure out what it was, what it meant, and I was having trouble. I was having trouble breathing. And it was like when you're in the shower and the humidity changes and you can't, you, because of the mist. I was like, that's very strange. That's not normal. uh, so I was questioning and I asked God, and He opened my eyes, and I saw this golden mist rolling out from the altar towards filling the sanctuary. I was like, yes, I know what that is. I call it the glory cloud, but it's like mist made out of fire, and it is beautiful. Um, and I've seen it in heaven. Uh, I've seen it a couple times during services and stuff. But like, that's it. That's what I'm sensing. So I made myself take some deep breaths and calm down. Uh, well, my heart was pounding like out of my chest. My friend to the right of me, she gets loud at certain points in worship, and I love it, but she was being loud, and I was shaking, like my legs were shaking. And I'd been fine up until this point, just singing normally, not just going along with it, but my regular impassioned worship. But my legs were weak. I was like clutching the pew in front of me, just trying to keep standing up. And I felt like I needed to go down to the altar for some reason, but it wasn't quite that time. Like there was no altar invitation or anything, which is fine. Like I know my pastors are cool with us going down to the altar whenever, but it didn't feel quite right yet. And then very shortly, pastor actually gave an invitation for us to come down if we needed prayer. Uh, so of course I did. I shakily made my way down there, and I got on my knees. And my friend actually came with me. I didn't realize at first she had followed me. And she commented that every knee shall bow. And I was like, yes, yes, it will. But I was so shaky. It was more lack of strength than anything. But as I sat there, it was like when I had been taken up to heaven before. And I just got the sense that I was sitting at the Lord's feet. And he was sitting right in front of me, like on the throne. And his peace just fell over me. And I was kneeling there crying, and people came over and prayed for me. Um, but it was just the presence of God that was so strong. Um, I haven't felt him like that in a while, and it's just nice. It was a sort of a renewing, a strengthening that I didn't even know I needed. Uh, but it was great. Can't stop. I don't have tissues. Ah. Um, yeah, it was needed, and I'm grateful that God urges us to do things like going down to the altar when you don't know why. Because he knows. He knew what I needed. Um, and I sat there while the music played. I didn't want to get up because I was just fully in the presence, just enjoying sitting there at the Lord's feet. And I was just like, I could have just fallen asleep right there. uh, but I did get up and go back to my seat, and service continued. But it was also Communion Sunday. And as we took communion, I was very acutely aware of the presence of the Lord, that he was watching everything that was going on. And it was a little bit, well, it was sobering, but it didn't make me nervous. I don't know. It was very strange to have him looking at you as you take the wafer. And I think if I had been like 10 years ago or so, I don't think I could have handled that. Like having the Lord watch me take communion was eerie. But it's such a privilege. Being able to do that in his presence and knowing he's right there. I was rejoicing because I was just so happy to know that this is my God, knowing that he knows me on a personal level. Like it's not just he's not far away in the cosmos. You know, he's aware of exactly what is going on in each and every single one of our lives. And he was there in a little church watching, I don't know, however many 30 of us take communion that day. You know, he's everywhere. It's just good. It's just good. I got all the warm fuzzies. But that happened. I wanted to share that. You will see many more tears on this channel. They're not something I can stop, so I don't really want to either. So there. But yeah, that happened this last Sunday, and uh, I'm practicing sharing what God shows me in the spirit because I've seen, well, I've seen more and more the last couple years. It wasn't always as intense or in frequency as it is now, but I realize that I have a responsibility to let people know what I'm seeing, and not everything. Some things just need to be prayed about, and I get that. But this was one of those things that I felt was very encouraging and good to share. So that's it. I will see you later.